Today I'm going to teach you step by step how to make this Valentine's Day DIY door swag using the paint stir stick method. Welcome to Stillwater's Wreath Designs. If you love all things DIY wreath making and door swag tutorials, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's dive in. Hey friends, it's Nikki here with Stillwater's Wreath Designs. Come on in. How are you today? Just a couple of things real quickly before we dive in. If you are new to Stillwater's Wreath Designs, welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you. This channel is all about DIY wreath and door swag tutorials. We've got new tutorials uploading every single week. So if you like that sort of thing, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and join us. And for my friends who have been on the channel for a while, I so appreciate you. Thank you for coming back. You'll find a full materials list for you below in the description of this video so that you can recreate this beauty if you'd like to do so. Of course, if you'd rather just purchase today's creation, I'll leave a link for my Etsy shop as well. We're going to build today's door swag on a 5-gallon paint stir stick. Go ahead and plug in your hot glue gun if you've not already done so. I actually buy these in bulk from Amazon. I'll leave a link for that for you below as well. You can also purchase these at basically any hardware store. And the 5-gallon paint stir stick, let's see how long it is. It's a little over 17 inches in length and probably an inch or so in width, and then pretty thin, of course. I prefer to grab these from Amazon because at least in our area, the 5-gallon paint stir sticks that you find at the hardware store have the measurement markings on them, and I prefer that they don't. The first thing we need to do is to add some pipe cleaners to the 5-gallon stir stick so that we can then add in our Deco Mesh. Guys, you're going to need 9 standard pipe cleaners. I always recommend that you choose a color that kind of matches the theme that you're working with. And as you can see, there's a curved indentation towards the top. And so we're going to take our very first pipe cleaner and wrap that around our paint stir stick right there at that curvature. And so I'm going to give it a couple of tight twists. And then after I make those couple of tight twists, I'm going to make an X here at the top of that pipe cleaner and then just wrap it around like so. And this is going to end up being the door hanger for us or our customer. There you go. Now you've got the perfect hanger for your swag once we're finished. And so now that we've got our hanger added, let's build out the rest of our pipe cleaners. You're welcome to measure this if you would like to, friends. I don't typically, no one's really going to be measuring once you've completed it, but if you're more comfortable, you sure can do so. We're going to add 2 pipe cleaners at the top, the middle, and the bottom, and then a single pipe cleaner in between. So we're going to add pipe cleaner number 1 here at the top, right below that dipped area. I'm going to wrap it around tightly, a couple of tight twists, and off to the side, just like that. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with our second pipe cleaner. Remember, this first one's a double, and this time our pipe cleaners will be going off to the side in the opposite direction. So a couple, 2 or 3 tight twists, and then point those guys off to the side. We're going to come down to the bottom. I usually just come up about an inch from the bottom of our paint stir stick. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to give that pipe cleaner a couple of tight twists, point those guys off to the side, and then we'll add our second. As you guys know, if you've been around on the channel for a while, I'm nursing a pretty substantial cut on my finger, so excuse that bulky pointer finger. All right, so we've got some doubles added to the top, some doubles added to the bottom, about an inch above that bottom, and then right in the middle, again, I'm just going to eyeball it. You're welcome to measure. We're going to add 1 more set of doubles. All right, now that we've got all of our doubles added in, we're going to put a single in between each set of doubles, and the single is going to point straight up in the air. If any of those pipe cleaners slid, just scooch them back in place. And now what we're going to do, guys, is just grab our glue gun and run a quick stripe of glue right over where that pipe cleaner meets our paint stir stick. And that'll just keep those guys from sliding around. Once you've got those glue dollops added, go ahead and set your paint stir stick off to the side to dry, and we'll prepare our Deco Mesh. We're going to use 3 different colors of 10-inch Deco Mesh today. So we've got a solid metallic pink, a metallic white, and a metallic red. And we're actually going to do the poof and curl method. And so our poofs will be pink, and then our curls will be red and white. So if you remember, we've got a total of 8 pipe cleaners added to our paint stir stick. So we're going to need 8 pieces of the 10-inch pink Deco Mesh cut at 30 inches in length. So using your ruler, tape measure, and scissors, or if you're new to wreath making, I would recommend that one of your first purchases is a self-healing mat. That's what you see in the background, and a rotary cutter. A rotary cutter basically works like a pizza cutter, and it allows you to cut your mesh quickly and cleanly with nice smooth lines. And so to use the rotary cutter, basically works like a pizza cutter. You're just going to roll that mesh out to that 30-inch mark, and then just following that grid line, cut all the way up, and that'll give you your quick and clean cut. So go ahead and cut 8 pieces of the pink Deco Mesh at 30 inches in length, and I'll meet you back here. Once you've got your 8 pieces of Deco Mesh cut at 30 inches in length, go ahead and grab your paint stir stick and bring it back to your work area. And then I would recommend that you just grab a chip clip or a clothespin or something of the sort to help you with this next process. So we're going to add 1 cruffle to every single set of pipe cleaners on our paint stir stick. And so to make a cruffle, you're going to grab a single piece of your Deco Mesh, and you're going to place it in your work area curl side up. I like to add something to the top of my mesh just to act as a weight. And we're going to roll one end in 2 or 3 times. If you're new to working with Deco Mesh loves to fray. And so by curling in the ends here, that really helps to reduce that fray. So once you've curled that end in 2 or 3 times, go ahead and secure it with your clip in the middle. Spin that guy around. And we're going to do the exact same thing at the other end. We're just going to curl that in 2 or 3 times to tuck away those raw edges. And then once you curl your ends, we're going to create the ruffle. And to create the ruffle, you're going to use your thumbs as your stationary fingers to hold down that curl, and then use your other fingers to crawl that mesh back into your hand all the way to the end of the piece. Remove your clip, pinch that guy in the middle, and you've just created your cruffle. And basically what a cruffle is, friends, is a curl on the ends and then a ruffle in the middle. And we're going to add 1 cruffle to every single set of pipe cleaners. So I'm just going to start at the top, and you want that curl side up. Open your pipe cleaners into a wide V. Place that cruffle all the way down to the base there in the middle. And then give those pipe cleaners a couple, 2 or 3 tight twists to really anchor that guy down. Then you can point them back off to the side. Let's do one more together, and then we'll speed ahead. We'll grab our piece of Deco Mesh and bring it to our work area, curl side up. I'm going to throw my rotary cutter in the middle here as to act as a weight. We're going to curl in the ends here 2 or 3 times to tuck away that raw edge. We'll secure it with our clip. We'll spin that guy around and do the same thing to the opposite end. So we'll curl that end in 2 or 3 times. And then we're gonna ruffle the middle of our mesh here, all the way to the end to create our crumple. We'll remove that clip, pinch that guy in the middle, come over to our paint stir stick, and open up our next set of pipe cleaners into a wide V, add that guy all the way down to the base, and give those pipe cleaners 2 or 3 super duper tight twists, just like that. We're going to repeat the same process through all of the pipe cleaners, both the doubles and the singles, and then I'll meet you back here. All right, now we've got all of our cruffles added into our swag base, and look how full that's getting to be already. Friends, I do like to mention at this point, you know, this is just a recipe, so feel free to duplicate this exactly as you see it, or change out the colors and the embellishments and the sign to suit your taste. So the next step in the process, we're going to add 2 curls to every single set of pipe cleaners. So we're going to scoot this guy off to the side, and we're going to add 1 red and 1 white curl to every single set of pipe cleaners. So we're going to need 8 cuts of the white and 8 cuts of the red, and we're going to cut those pieces at 10 inches in length. And so we're just going to roll that out using our scissors and ruler, or your self-healing mat and rotary cutter at 10 inches in length. 8 pieces of each, and I'll meet you back here. Go ahead and bring your swag base back into your work area, and we're going to still be using our chip clip, and we're going to add 1 white and 1 red curl to every single set of pipe cleaners. And to make a curl, guys, it's super easy. You're just going to grab 1 piece of Deco Mesh, lay it in your work area, curl side up, and just basically roll that guy into a cylindrical tube all the way to the end. Just like that. It's about 1.5 inches in diameter in the middle, and then of course it flares out a bit at the ends. Once you've got that rolled into a cylindrical tube, just use your clip to pinch that guy in the middle and set it off to the side. And then we'll grab our second color and repeat that same step, laying that in our work area, curl side up, and rolling this guy into a cylindrical tube. Once you've got that second piece rolled, grab that first piece and release it from the clip. Form it into a loose X, and we're going to add this Deco Mesh Curl X into every single set of pipe cleaners. So we'll start at the top, open those pipe cleaners into a wide V, place the center of your X all the way down to the base of those pipe cleaners, and just give those pipe cleaners 2 or 3 super duper tight twists. It should look something like this. Let's go ahead and do one more together, and then we'll speed ahead. Grab your piece of Deco Mesh, lay it in your workstation, curl side up, roll that guy into a cylindrical tube, so it's about 1.5 inches or so in diameter in that center. Pinch that with your clip and set it off to the side. Grab your second color, lay that in your workstation, curl side up, and you guessed it, roll that guy into a cylindrical tube. Now we'll grab that first piece, release it from the clip, form it into a loose X, come to your next set of ties, open those pipe cleaners into a wide V, place that X all the way down to the base of those pipe cleaners, and give them 2 or 3 super duper tight twists. And we've just added our second set of curls. Go ahead and add 2 curls, 1 red and 1 white, to every single set of pipe cleaners throughout the entire swag, and I'll meet you back here. Now that we have all of our curls added into our base, you guys, look how stinking cute this is coming together and how nice and full that is. So at this point, this guy is now about 36 inches in length and 12 inches in width. This would also make a great centerpiece for your dining room table or your fireplace mantle, so lots of options with this guy. And so today we're going to do kind of a Valentine's love letter theme. So I have this really cute, looks like a Valentine's envelope with that nice raised heart on it. This actually came from the Dollar Tree. We're going to place this guy right in the middle of our swag. So this comes with a cute little twine hanger, but we actually don't need that. So I'm going to cut that guy off. And to attach this, I'm going to use my jewelry hole punch. This is a pretty cheap tool. It actually came from Amazon. I'm just going to make a little hole at the bottom and the top of the envelope here. I'm just eyeballing it, looking for that center. No need for perfection. Guys, if you don't have this little tool, I'll link it for you below. And in the meantime, until you receive that, you can just use these side holes already entered and just use some floral wire stems. So I grabbed a couple of 20 gauge floral wire stems. I'm going to fold those guys in half just to identify that center point. And I'm going to run that right through that hole on the top. And then on the back side, I'll give it just a couple of twists just to keep that guy from getting squirrely. And then we'll do the same thing for that bottom hole, folding that floral wire stem in half to identify that center point. Running our floral wire stem right through that hole we just made, or again, utilizing these top holes if you don't have that handy tool. I'm going to come around to the back side, give it a couple of twists just to keep it from sliding out. And then we'll come into our swag and anchor this guy down. To anchor this guy down, I'm going to actually place this in the center. You can certainly add it wherever you'd like. We're just going to run those floral wire stems right through our swag base and then twist them securely on the back. So once you've got your envelope anchored down, it should look something like this on the back. You're just going to want to tighten those floral wire stems at about 80% tension. You want them to be nice and secure, but not so tight that your decorative envelope recedes back into your swag. So I've trimmed off the ends there. I'm just going to pinch them together now with my needle nose pliers and kind of curl them under like so. And we're going to do the same thing to the lower level. Once you've got those ends trimmed off and curled back under, go ahead and take your hot glue gun and just run a couple of squirts of glue right on top of that guy. That serves a dual purpose. It anchors down those floral wire stems so that your envelope doesn't slide around, and it also puts some glue on those raw edges to keep them from being pokey. While these glue dollops dry, let's go ahead and make our bows. I've got two 1.5 inch wired ribbon types. So this super cute red, white, and pink heart ribbon, and then also this white with super cute love letter envelopes that matches our little sign perfectly. And we're going to make two smaller bows of identical size to add above and below our envelope sign. So you're going to need your choice of ribbon. Just make sure it's wired, friends. That'll help your bows hold its shape. Some coordinating colored pipe cleaners and a good pair of scissors. I typically make my bows by hand. However, since I'm nursing an injury, we're going to use the bow dabra today. If you're new to wreath making or bow making, the bow dabra is a great tool to have if you still struggle with bow making or if you need assistance, such as I do today. And so it's just a plastic piece that's got a slit along the top and then in the center as well. And the first thing we're going to do, is add our pipe cleaner in, and you're just going to run that guy right down the center here. You can also use floral wire if that's what you've got handy. Then tuck those guys underneath and out of the way. So we're going to cut an 18-inch strip of each ribbon type and a 14-inch strip of each ribbon type. Once you've got your strips cut, go ahead and dovetail those ends. I'm going to actually cut them both at the same time. And so you're going to put one on top of the other, fold it in half, grab your scissors, and then on the folded side, come down about 1 inch and cut up diagonally to the corner. That'll give you that pretty V, which is called a dovetail. We're going to do that to all of the pieces of our ribbon. Once you've got those ends dovetailed, go ahead and grab your bow dabra, or of course you can do this by hand. I'm going to do the heart ribbon first, and I want a 5-inch tail, so I've just measured 5 inches. I'm going to give that a little pinch. I'll give that a twist. And I'm going to add that down to the bow dabra, and then I'm going to eyeball to kind of identify that 5-inch tail mark again and slide that guy down in, just like that. So you've got a loop that's about 4 inches and 2 tails. We're going to grab the next ribbon and do the same thing, but go in the opposite direction. We're going to measure out 5 inches. Give that a pinch. Give that a hard twist. Have our tail down. Create that loop. Give it a pinch and slide it down in, just like that. We're going to follow the same pattern. We'll go back to the red and white. This time we're going to do a 3.5-inch tail. Give that a pinch, a hard twist. Add that into our bow dabra. Make that loop a little bit smaller. And again, guys, not looking for perfection. No one's going to be measuring. And add that on top. And we'll finish up. So we're going to make that 3.5-inch tail. Give it a pinch, a hard twist, going in that opposite direction, making our loop, giving that guy a pinch, and adding it down in. So now you've got lots of cute dovetailed tails and some loops. So we're going to take our pipe cleaner and release that from the bottom of the bow dabra, gently pull that guy up, and bring it around to the back side and give it a couple of super duper tight twists. As tight as you can get it. So then I just like to place that pipe cleaner between 2 of my fingers, and I just separate out those tails and loops. So it should be tail, tail, loop. Tail, tail, loop, and just kind of pull them in different directions. This is just a rough fluff. We'll do the final fluff once we get this beauty added into our swag. So I'm just basically separating them out and pulling them apart. And once you've got your bow, this is the rough fluff. Just got those tails going in the right direction. We're going to add this guy into our swag, and we're going to add it directly above our envelope sign. Because our Deco Mesh is so dense, we're going to go ahead and trim off the excess bits of those pipe cleaners, and we're going to anchor this down using a floral wire stem. So again, just fold that guy in half, wrap that around your bow. You're going to give it a couple of 2 or 3 super duper tight twists, just like that. And then we're going to poke this guy right through our swag, right above our sign here. Just weave that guy in there. We're going to poke that through, and you don't want it to recede too much, so I'm going to poke it through, give it a couple of loose twists. Flip it back over, make sure I'm happy with that placement. Yep, that looks pretty good. So we'll flip that guy back over, give it a couple more twists. You don't need too much anchoring here, guys. That bow doesn't weigh much of anything. Trim off those excess bits, pinch those ends together, and curl it back in. We aren't going to glue it yet. We'll go ahead and get that second bow made and attached, and then we'll glue these guys down. So go ahead and make a second bow following that same method, and I'll meet you back here. Once you've got both of your upper and lower bows attached, those floral wires trimmed and tucked away, add a couple of dollops of glue to secure that stem down. And then we'll scooch this guy off to the side. While that's drying, we're going to go ahead and make some ribbon tails. So remember, we had a total of 8 pipe cleaners on our swag base, but we've covered up 2 of them with that envelope. So that leaves us 6. So we're going to need 6 pieces of each of our ribbon types, because we're going to add 2 tails to each remaining pipe cleaner. So the first ribbon type, this red and pink heart, we're going to cut 6 strips at 20 inches in length. And then we're going to cut 6 pieces of the envelope ribbon at 10 inches in length. So go ahead and cut all of your ribbon strips, dovetail those ends, and I'll meet you back here. Once you've got all of your ribbon tails prepared, go ahead and come back to your swag. We're going to add 2 ribbon tails to every single set of remaining pipe cleaners on our swag. So take your longer ribbon, form that into an awareness ribbon. You basically want those tails a little bit longer than the awareness end. You're going to give that a pinch in the middle, so it looks something like this. Then you're going to grab your smaller ribbon, just eyeball it to find the center and give it a pinch, and add that right on top underneath your fingers, and come to any set of available pipe cleaners and add this guy right down in to the center of those pipe cleaners. And then give those pipe cleaners 2 or 3 super duper tight twists. Once you've got those anchored down, grab your small snips or your scissors and trim off that excess bit of pipe cleaner. You won't need them any longer. And then I just take my fingers and kind of tuck that little nub back in and fluff out that bow. And so all I'm doing, guys, is pulling those tails away from the center of our swag, fluffing up that awareness loop, and kind of giving it a little bit of a curvature with my fingers. Let's do one more together and then we'll speed ahead. So we'll grab our longer of the 2 ribbons and fold that guy into an awareness ribbon so that that loop is a tad smaller than the tails. Give that a pinch in the center and just hold that with your fingers. Then grab your shorter of the ribbons, eyeball it to find the center and give it a pinch, and add that right on top of your awareness ribbon, and come to your next set of pipe cleaners, open them into a wide V, add this guy down to the base. You guys, those awareness loops can go any direction you like, and then give those pipe cleaners 2 or 3 super duper tight twists. Grab your small snips or scissors and trim off that excess bit of pipe cleaner. Then just curl those little nubs back under and fluff out that bow, pulling all of your tails away from the center of your swag. Just run your fingers over them to give them a little bit of a bump and fluff out that loop. Just like that. How stinking cute is that, guys? So go ahead and add all of your tails throughout your remaining pipe cleaners, trim off those ends, and fluff out your tails, and I'll meet you back here. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so stinking adorable. All right, we're on to our last step. I grabbed this 6-pack of glitter heart picks from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to add these guys into our swag. I'm going to take my small snips and snip this guy off completely. Let me just pull it and see if it'll come out. No. So I'm going to trim that stem off completely, so I am just left with that heart, because I want to glue a heart in each of the centers of the bows. And so you'll just want to give it a good full couple of dollops of glue. Be mindful not to burn yourself, of course, and set that guy down in. We'll do the same thing below. I'm just going to have this guy pointing in the opposite direction, so it's got a little bit of whimsy. So again, adding 2 or 3 full squirts of glue, being careful not to burn my hand, and adding that to the center of my bow. I'm actually going to go ahead and trim off all of these picks so that I'm just left with the foam heart. And I'm going to take a couple of dollops of glue and glue each one down at the center of our ribbon tail bundles. So I'm going to add 2 to the bottom, 2 to the top, and 1 on each side. And this beauty is finished. Oh my goodness, it turned out so cute. I sure hope you enjoyed creating with me today. If you did, be sure to give this tutorial a thumbs up. It really helps my little channel to grow. Thanks for spending time with me today, friends. Happy crafting.